This is Pretoria's newest rave club. Many of the ravers you will see in this footage are under 18, and most have taken ecstasy, LSD acid, or cocaine. Evolution is the most popular nightclub in Pretoria. It's in Esalen Street, Sunnyside. With up to 3,000 people through the doors on weekend nights, it can make more than 120,000 rand an evening. It's no wonder everyone is after a share of the pie. On the 2nd of February this year, special assignment goes undercover at Evolution. We carry in a hidden camera specially fitted with a low-light lens. Our cameraman, Dudley, approaches a dealer that other ravers point out. The dealer seems a bit skittish. Why are we asking him for pills? Who do we think he is? But Dudley manages to convince him that we bought pills from him the week before. He tells Dudley to wait a while. Meanwhile, it looks like more and more people are queuing up to buy, their money rolled up and ready in tight wads. Suddenly, the dealer rushes past and tells Dudley to follow him to the restroom. The deal takes no more than 5 minutes. Our pills are wrapped in tinfoil. At 80 rand a pill, I insist on inspecting our stock in the women's toilet. The most astounding thing about this deal is that the Sunnyside police conducted a raid on the premises just a mere 2 hours before.
I've got this motto in life that a rave without drugs is like fried fish without meat. It does not exist. You cannot rave without drugs.
Ek het 'n ooreenkoms met die Here gemaak dat ek gaan nie dwelms verkoop nie en ek gaan nie daarbey betrokke raak nie en ek hou dwelms uit my klub in.
To start a rave club and say that your club is going to be drug-free completely is new.
As jy dink ek verkoop dwelms, vang my dan met dwelms. Vang my dat ek handel dryf in dwelms. Dan gaan ek soos 'n man my pak slaap.
I was making between, on a bad weekend, 10,000 a weekend, to about 20,000 out of 5,000 rands worth of stock.
I used to make a killing. I mean, I was always cashing up 90,000 rand, 120,000 rand.
26-year-old Genevieve started working at Evolution as a bar lady when it opened in April last year. She was trying to hold down a straight job after 2 years as one of Pretoria's ecstasy, acid and cocaine suppliers. She supplied to 4 clubs, including the now defunct DNA, and she used coke herself to keep up the pace.
Now, I was only mostly awake in the evenings because a lot of people would phone you at night. At 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, they want to come pick up a gram of coke or they want to come pick up pills. So you have to be ready and awake and have stock on you. I actually felt really good because I was this important person and I sort of got hooked on that vibe, on that whole ego trip of, yes, I'm the queen drug girl in Pretoria.
Genevieve was ready to put dealing behind her when she started barlading at Evolution. But her best friend Caroline was still in the business. She'd been dealing since the age of 15. A friend and fellow drug dealer introduced Caroline to one of Pretoria's drug kingpins, a man called Mickey.
He introduced me to Mickey. He mentioned that to Mickey that I used to be a dealer and that I was a good dealer. And Mickey needed someone else to help run Evolution.
Drug dealers obtain rights to sell specific drugs at specific clubs. Evolution would be Mickey's territory for ecstasy and acid. To get dealing rights, Mickey would have had to negotiate with the club owner. Evolution is owned by Johan Hartmann. Caroline knew Johan Hartmann from previous clubs she had dealt and DJ'd in.
I heard that Mickey had gotten dealing rights with Evolution, and Johan actually mentioned that he's got his own dealers. So I put 1 and 1 together and made 2. And that's pretty much how life started at Evolution.
When I started there
At Evolution?
90% of the bouncers already had the intentions of either using, selling, or knew that it was going to be done in the club because Mickey was there from day one.
Mickey was the guy that supplied me. He was the guy that gave me my drugs. I used to deal for him. He was my boss. He's very clever. Mickey's not even his real name. Next to no one knows where he lives. I think he's one of the cleverest people I've ever met in the drug world.
This is Evolution's owner, Johan Hartman. He denies even knowing Mickey.
Ek het al gehoor van die naam Mickey. Ek hoor die mense maak die aantuigings. Daar was al aan my genader en gevra dat hulle of ek bewus is van 'n persoon met die naam van Mickey in die klub is. Ek ken nie so 'n persoon nie. Ek weet nie wie is die Mickey persoon nie. Maar ek het al die naam gehoor, dat eerlik nie hiervan.
Johan's lying.
Why would you say that?
Everyone saw Mickey and Johan together in the club. Everyone. I mean, it's like putting, how can I put it? It's like me walking up to my own mother and saying, I don't know who you are.
I've always seen him just with Mickey talking, and they would always go sit in that purple room piece up there. They'd always go sit there, talk, and I'd have to bring them a drink or two while they sat and chatted and visited with one another.
They were always together in the club, drinking at the top bar, drinking at the bottom bar. Whenever Johan was in there, they would chat, walk around together, the macho men in the club.
Despite this alleged relationship between Johan Hartman and one of Pretoria's most notorious drug lords, very few police raids on Evolution ever proved successful.
I never actually had police or anybody under my sleeve, but a lot of the dealers do have that, and then they've got to pay 10% of their cut. So if they make 20,000, they've got to give 2,000 rand to the cop who's giving them information on whether or not the club's going to be raided.
The drug cop in charge at the time was Superintendent Brent Burke.
And what I can tell you from my experience about closing a club down is just to show a police appearance in town, because it's not really working. We know that beforehand, but because we had to do something, you don't really going to get success, and we never really had success.
Yeah, we always knew when a raid was going to happen. We always knew when things were going to go down. So yes, we did know when raids were going to happen.
How did that happen?
We had a cop that would tell us. Frank Burke, he would tell us. Him and Mickey were like two peas in a pod.
There is a drug problem at Evolution, but when you're looking at other clubs, even clubs that have been in Pretoria, rave clubs, and especially in the club in Johannesburg, we got a Christmas picnic in Evolution.
Obviously, when you become a dealer in a new town, you get to learn who the different son of cops are, and which ones you can press buttons with, and which ones you just can't. They just straight and narrow. So yeah, I learned at Brent Burke you can walk over.
These are not the first allegations of bribery and corruption against Burke. Hartman's soon-to-be ex-wife, Eta, heard his name on many occasions from Hartman. Before Evolution, Hartman owned a brothel called Airport Country Lodge. Prostitution being against the law, it was surprising that the lodge was never targeted by Burke's unit.
He has told me that the reason why they don't bust the lodge, because it's a prostitution brothel, is because they pay Brent Burke some money under the table, cash. He's also once mentioned to me that Brent Burke has paid for Brent Burke for a limo, it was a limo or a Mercedes, to go away for the weekend in a hotel for him and his girlfriend, for Brent Burke and his girlfriend.
Burke says Hartman only helped organize a courtesy car through his contacts at a car company, and that the money was used to sponsor an overseas trip legitimately.
I was investigated by the anti-corruption unit because all the money I was found, if there wasn't even a charge, because I had all the people that gave me money, where the money go in which account and everything. So yes, we did exchange money, but legally, not illegally.
Burke also denies warning dealers in Evolution about upcoming raids. He says he never knew a dealer named Mickey.
I'd see them speaking to each other, joking around, having serious conversations. So yes, I did see them around a lot. Together, I mean, what is the head of Sunup doing running around with a drug lord in Pretoria?
Burke says he was booked off by a doctor for stress in May 2000 and never returned to the police until his service was officially ended this January. He therefore had no inside information from the police since May, only the second month of Evolution's lifespan. For dealers to operate successfully in a club, everyone has to be in on it, from the bouncers who protect the dealers and their runners to the managers who turn a blind eye. The key element, though, is the owner's own attitude to drugs.
Johan would plenty of times, he would get his pills at cost price. We were never allowed to give him pills out of our stock because our stock had to be sold at a certain price. But from Mickey, he would get it at cost price.
Rumours about Johan Hartmann's own drug use are rife in Pretoria. His investors cite this as the reason for the club not making money, despite its popularity.
How it has got into so much debt can only go up somebody's nose. There's no other way.
Lolly Jackson owns 5 highly successful teasers strip clubs countrywide. Johan Hartmann was a friend of his and borrowed R250,000 to run Evolution. But the business has been in such disarray that Jackson finally stepped in. Evolution can accommodate around 3,000 people a night. That should mean an income of at least R150,000 a week, but the club has nothing to show for it. To safeguard his investment, Jackson started managing the club himself.
Everybody there is so far gone. Half of them think they're working on Venus. In the meantime, they're in Pretoria. The times that I've been there, I mean, when I told you about that management agreement that I fired 2 barmen, these guys didn't even know I was standing in front of them.
Lolly Jackson's own views on drugs are well known among the staff at his various teasers branches. He's even installed secret cameras in teasers toilets to ensure that his dancers don't use on the premises.
If the owner of the club is never there, if he's not hands-on, nothing's going to work. Everybody's going to come in there, do what they like, take as much drugs as they possibly can, fall down, and the money disappears.
I've seen girls in Evolution that are 11, 12 years old, and now so pulled up, I don't even know, they think they know where they are.
Every day that I see another kid using it, it's younger and younger. I mean, I'm talking 2 years ago, most of them were 18. Now I hear of them, they're 16, they're 15, it's getting worse.
Now, when I sit and I think about dealing drugs, selling it, you know, I sit and I think to myself, did my pill, or ever one pill that I sold, kill someone?
Evolution, functioning at capacity, is a huge money spinner. Everyone wants a slice of the action. But one man claims a more noble cause, Pretoria's self-appointed godfather, Mike Bolhuis. Bolhuis is on a religious crusade to eradicate drugs from Pretoria's nightclubs.
I believe honestly that God has given us wonderful bodies and that we should protect them and look after them.
Bolhuis owns one of Pretoria's largest debt-collecting and bouncer companies. It's called Specialized Security Services. On the night of February the 3rd, Bolhuis gets ready to close down Evolution.
We were all good friends. Everybody was good friends. And they got all fucked up because of drugs.
Mike Bolhuis knows the owner of Evolution as friend and client. He used to collect debts and provide security at the brothel Hartmann owned before starting Evolution.
Convinces me the day Johan Hartmann said to me, Mike, Johan Hartmann was my client, that I'm going to open a club that is going to be second to none in South Africa. He knew the moment he's going to say rave, I was going to freak.
Bolhuis claims to be working with the police, giving information to support their enforcement of drug laws. But the police are bound by laws and regulations. Bolhuis, it seems, is a law unto himself. To him, the end justifies the means.
Every night that place is open. There is a lot of these people taking drugs and getting other people to take drugs. And that creates an environment where drugs is available and it draws other people. And Sunnyside is rotten to the core. Niemand kom in nie, wag. Niemand. Wag julle kan net. Adrian, sê net vir die barmans, hulle moenie die bar oopmaak nie. Die bars moenie oop nie.
For 3 months at the end of last year, Bolhuis's bouncers provided security at Evolution. They made no impact on the drug trade or drug use in the club. Bole says that's why they left Hartman's service.
We know now that there is no way that a club like that could be protected by us because we cannot control it. In the times that we worked there, the people, the customers, bought their kicks and shit outside and they cooked and chilled inside. Jy weet hoe dit gaan. Sê jy my op die dwelms is of nie?
Maar jy weet ons maar gaan dit in 'n nagklub, jong.
Ja.
Ek kan niks.
So jy is, yes, nou dit gaan. Jou naam is goed hierso en jou naam is goed by ons. Jy het ons altyd geondersteun en altyd gehelp. So ek is nie hier om jou te na te kom nie. Jy's 'n bestuurder, jy's nie die eienaar nie. Jy weet jy is dwelm. Jy het al baie keer gekla daaroor. Maar ons trek vanaand die streep en miskien vir Johan ook skakel vir Peter. Ook wel.
Bole's crusade tonight has infuriated the managers and bouncers. They say he has sour grapes because he's lost the security contract at Pretoria's most popular venue. They say this is a fight for territory.
Jy fok op my, vat die kamera weg. Vat die kamera weg.
Stop my camera. Geen plek met die
Nee, dis nie die kamera nie.
Dit is die camera.
Hy
Ek gaan net op my, ek gaan net my camera
laat
vat.
buite.
Eventually, Johan Hartman and his girlfriend arrive. Hartman says the dispute with Boles arose from two incidents when Boles collected money from him on behalf of Lolly Jackson and never handed it over.
Ek net buite my camera, jy geen papierwerk mee binne te hê. Ja. Asseblief, jy het geen papierwerk mee binne te wees nie. Uit jou kamera.
Jy is nie my te help nie, jy soek aandag. Dis jou probleem.
Hier,
Maar kry dit nou op televisie. Ek gaan as op televisie aan die mense noem dat met 2 aangeleenthede geld by hierdie maatskappy gesteel het sonder my toestemming. Nou probeer jy omdat jou sekuriteit nou nie verder op my firma is nie, nou kry jy aandag dat jy met 'n klomp bouncers met geweld my besigheid kom toemaak sonder wettige dokumentasie. Johan, as jy jou voorgetuies verlaat my perseel, mag nie dan arresteer vanaand.
Johan Hartman had very, very specific instructions from me that money would be deposited weekly into my bank account. I checked my bank account, no money was deposited. So naturally my first reaction is I phoned up Johan Hartman. I said, what the hell's going on now? Where's my money? No, Mr. Mike Boles came and collected. I said, how can you give my money to Mike Boles? He's got no authority. He's got no mandate to collect on my behalf.
Bole says he appropriated the money after collecting a debt for Lolly Jackson. He had Evolution sound equipment signed over to Jackson as repayment on his loan to Hartman.
Our arrangement was that the moment I did the debt collection, I would be paid the 30,000 rand. I obviously paid myself the 30,000 rand since he did not pay me.
I asked Mr. Bolhuis about it. It's down for expenses. I mean, that's more expensive than my lawyers.
On the night Boles launches his action, Hartman calls out the Sunnyside police. Without a relevant court order, Boles' attempt to close the club is illegal.
Ek meen ons tree basis op na gelang van die groot Pretoria, ouers, skole, hoeveel plek.
Ja, maar as jy dokumentasie
Skrikwekkend.
kan nie net verstaan nie. Ons kan nie net die plek toe maak.
Dit is skrikwekkend,
Verstaan, ek bedoel.
verstaan.
Threatened with arrest, Boles is forced to stand down. The club opens for another night, but Hartman claims a loss in income of more than 30,000 rand for the weekend.
I am fighting with my life, with my crew, against drugs.
For a person to walk around with a Bible in one hand, a gun in the other, and say, the Lord is going to fuck with you, doesn't cut a lot of ice with me.
The drug dealers and the drug lords do not come to you with a request to let's have tea. They come to you with weapons. And if they come with a knife, we must be ready with a gun. If they come with a gun, we must be ready with bigger guns.
If you're going to go and close evolution now, and this is what Mr. Boles must understand, if you're going to go and close evolution right now with force, it's going to open up around the corner, and maybe you won't be able to control it because those people are going to have to go somewhere.
But evolution may not close down after all. This is the man who could take it over. Maniki Geyser is the leader of the Max motorcycle gang. He and his business partner invested more than R1 million in evolution. To cover a part of the debt, Maniki has already taken over Hartman's brothel. The Macs are feared in Pretoria. Maniki owns nightclubs, brothels and restaurants all over town. The biker club is his protection. They're all independent businessmen, not paid or in Maniki's service, but their allegiance is beyond question. Together they have the power to wreak havoc wherever they choose. They've been in many scuffles with Pretoria's bouncer fraternity, including Mike Boles. Maniki and his partner have obtained a court order attaching Evolution's assets to cover Hartman's outstanding debt. A secretive and elusive man, Geyser would not be interviewed on camera, but his position on drugs is clear.
If I was in control or had a say in the management of Club Evolution, I would most definitely have taken a stronger stand against the prevailing drug problem, as I'm opposed to drugs. And I have a long history of having taken a stand against drugs. I feel that drugs are destroying the youth of South Africa.
Maniki told us that the first step is to auction the club to get his money back from Hartman. If his bid turns out to be the highest, the rave club will continue. Ravers will be able to use drugs outside, but dealers won't be allowed inside. It remains to be seen whether his friends would comply.
I know for a fact. Lelike Willie used to buy by me. Dion used to buy by me. Quentin used to buy by me. There was another guy in the Max got like a ponytail, I'm not too sure of his name anymore. He used to buy by me. So I mean, that alone tells you. It's like saying, never judge a book by its cover. Don't judge the Max gang by their cover.
Evolution's future is in the balance. Whether it closes or continues under a different name, many people will have to deal with its legacy. Youngsters for whom this has become a way of life, and the people who were taken in by Johan Hartman.
Dit is nie meer lekker om in die oggende wakker te word nie. Sekerlik nie. Die een dag raak beter en die afgelope 10 maande was vir my 'n stryd, maar nog steeds moet ek vashou aan wat ek het. Al wat ek hoor het is die klap.
Johan is a violent man, and they should take his gun quickly because he will use his gun either on himself or on somebody soon.
Well, he says he's down, he's going to liquidate himself. He's got nothing. He's losing Evolution. Everybody wants to close Evolution. And he said to me, maybe he must kill himself. And I said to him, well, that's not the solution.
I did not give 250,000 rand as a loan to somebody to end up running his business. I'd rather run my own businesses. And if push comes to shove, if you want my honest opinion, I would rather say to you, how with the 250,000 rand, put it down in school fees and walk away.
I don't care. As a matter of fact, the more disarray there is, the better. As far as I'm concerned, that place is history.
If I could go back in time, I would have chased him out of my office. If I could go back in time, I would have actually chased him out of my office.
A rave should be banned. Short and sweet. A rave should not exist. There is no way that a rave is clean.
Coming clean has also been a long, hard battle for Caroline and Genevieve. It's taken them more than 6 months to rehabilitate from using cocaine and to leave the big money from dealing behind.
It's not getting better. Not in this country, not in Pretoria, not in the clubs. It's not getting better, it's getting worse.
I was actually standing in Evolution. As you walk into Evolution, you get stairs going up to a purple lounge. We call it the purple lounge. And I just watched the people, and there was no one up there with me, it was just me. And I think being wired on coke and looking at all the people and realizing that they all look that way because of you. And I looked down and I saw a young girl, very pretty young girl, very model-looking face, very beautiful girl. And she couldn't have been more than 13 years old. And I actually saw her from up there taking a pill. And I thought to myself, you know, if that was my child, I think I would die inside. And I think for a moment in time, I actually realized the proper meaning and the true picture of drugs. I saw the true meaning of dealing with drugs. And I think that really scared me.
Join us again next week for part 2 of our investigation into the Pretoria drug scene. We meet 2 heroin addicts, aged 14 and 16.
I wonder how
And I was actually